sure everything's working. But we're here. We are doing our thing. Okay. Here we go. Like everything's working now. I don't know what's going on with YouTube, but we're back. Back with a Saturday stream. Yapping, talking, doing our thing. Make sure everything is working fine. All going well. What are we at? We're at that. Alright. We have a happy 4th of July, y'all. Welcome to a Saturday stream. We haven't really done these, I think, since, what? Did we do one last week? I can't remember. Probably did. But we're back. Just gonna get right into it. Nothing really to update on. Just happy 4th of July. Oh my god, a cool bracelet. Got from work. Hell yeah. Represent, Ally. Hope y'all are staying safe on this 4th of July, as in the time of this recording. This 4th of July, this Saturday. So yeah, we're gonna switch on over. Just get right into it. Of course, this is all screwed up. Of course, we got, oh, excuse me. I hate this camera sometimes. What can I clear out? But we'll be looking at the NECA Mirage Renet figure. Been a figure I've had like ever since it came out, like ever since they started this line. I mean it's number 2 next to Fugitoid, and then they had Casey and Oshop. But they were waiting for an excuse to finally get her open, and doing the Casey yesterday, I was like, you know what, we'll finally get her, get more Mirage stuff, more of the Eastman layered stuff going on here. But she looks great. Yeah, a very unique character. A character, honestly, I'm not really too familiar with when it comes to Ninja Turtles. I think this is kind of like that thing that's like, it mainly came from the comics and kind of stuck around with the, with some of the shows, like some of the other stuff, but I'm not sure. But we'll kind of see what goes down, but here we are. It has this same kind of basic packaging as we saw the other day with the Casey Jones, but doesn't have the images that kind of lay over across. You just see all your art there. So we got Renet there, Renet nameplate. Have a nice side view with her unmasked look, her with the full costume. Turtles on the side. She's number 2 of the wave. Very nice. Meanwhile, and then nice photos there. NECA, your turtles, to be continued. Let me know if my mic is working in the chat. Also leave a like and subscribe. For sure, but we're going to go ahead and get her open. Won't really kill much time. Also, shout out to all the people. And Kevin Eastman, who did the illustrations as usual. One of the co-creators. All these badass people. But can only hope y'all are staying safe during this holiday time. Me and Goo got our trusty X-Acto blade. There we go. Get this going. What the heck? Oh yeah, that does make sense. So they do have a silica gel. It is actually taped on there. There's our box, our in thing to the ether. There we go. But there she is in all her plastic glory. Looking pretty sweet. Does have the actual wired cape, actual fabric cape, so that's kind of actually cool and nice. But we'll get everything out, get a look-see, see what's going down. Come on. Of course, these little ties are always the worst with these NECA figures, with any figure, really, that comes with this stuff. Like, do we really need to have this go on? But I guess they do. Not go on, we do have one little plastic piece. I'm gonna try, at least with this, gonna get everything out, if we're able. Especially when it comes to her scepter thing. But if y'all got any questions or want to ask about anything or want to see anything, feel free to let me know. Or let me know what's going on with y'all. If you're opening any figures recently or picked up anything. I did pick up some stuff recently today. I went grocery shopping earlier today. I did pick up some goodies, but we'll be looking at those next stream as I do my weekly pickups there. Hardest part's gonna be probably getting this out. Do you have Spider-Man? Do I have Spider-Man? Pick one. At least I'll show off my favorite. Hup. Got a whole shelf dedicated to this man, but this is the Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, the Marvel Legends 3-pack version. My main display Spider-Man. Looks great. Looks awesome. But Chloe Roberts. Appreciate it. Got plenty of Spider-Mans. Always have plenty of Spider-Mans. Be kind of careful with this. See, I hate how they do this kind of thing, because it's just like, if I can, there we go. Easier so I don't break that. There we go. Then we'll finally get Renet out. Renet? Yeah, Renet. I forget how to pronounce her name. I just call her Renee. I assume the T is silent. They even have like the full-on, like the headdress is just full-on done up there. Which is weird, but I get it. You want to this stay, but I'm like, how the hell am I supposed to... How am I supposed to get this out then? There we go. Pull from the legs. Is there also another twist tie? Hold on. This shit. Hold on. Chloe says I have a Spider-Man backpack, a pillow, Spider-Man costume, Spider-Man slippers, and Spider-Man socks, and a Spider-Man blanket. Awesome. Good time to be a Spider-Man. Oh my god. They literally do have another... They have another twist tie around her neck. What the hell? I do not... That's not cool in my mind. I do not like that. And just to give a fair warning, if there's any kids or anything, I do swear. So I will say the words. Come after 10 minutes, so if you do not want to hear swearing or not allowed, please appreciate knowing that I am an adult man looking at toys. I understand. But yeah. Yeah, but it's ridiculous that NECA still does this. But they've been doing that I'll continue to keep doing these, but there is her. Whoa. Here we go. There's our figure. Let me get our rest of my plastic to the ether. Up. Get her standing first. If I can. She is a bit older. Not going to surprise me too much that she does have pinned knees and arms, and especially for a female figure, doesn't stand the greatest, especially when her legs all freaking warped like that. There we go. Hoop. There she is in all her plastic glory again. Looking pretty cool. Neat little details. I like the little crown she basically has up. Yeah, going on here with the with the clock or the watch, whatever it is. The three kind of like fin things going on at the top has these gold circles that go around. I have these two little plates on the side that have like arrows and other things there, and of course that is separate, so you can have her without it, which is pretty cool. And then with the actual head sculpt, just very basic detailing. Has the lipstick there, has the eyeshadowing around, little fabric detail, and of course with the cape, full-on fabric, has a full wire going all around to the side, the bottom, and everything. So if you want to get her in a nice dynamic pose and have the cape there, it is kind of weird with how the cape is kind of like shaped to where it's like it's very rounded kind of here at the front, but then it goes very square at the end. So pretty neat, but I don't know. It's just like, it's very weird. It's a very specific design, but she's pretty cool. Has this whole kind of like this corset kind of thing going on, I guess, or even kind of like swimsuit kind of thing, but has a bunch of clocks on it. Of course, have a bit of cleavage there, but that's comic book stuff there. And then bare skin on the arms and the legs. Has gloves with little cuffs on there. Even, well, she does have some shoulder pad, so that's pretty cool. Pretty nice detail there. Even has more clock detail there, and has some kind of like, I guess that's supposed to be like scales, and that is actually all sculpted in there, so that's very, so that's very nice too, that that's just not just painted on there. So pretty neat. And then legs, of course, are just kind of bare, have some little detail there, and then of course the boots, very basic, nothing too much going on there. Of course, I'm pretty sure that the cape is probably removable with Renet, or Renet. I forget how to pronounce this lady's name. Bruh. Oh, and this crown wants to stay on. That's probably the only other thing that's going to be weird. Is if this crown will stay on straight with her. Ooh. But just as is, like, still this is pretty good. Has the, I mean, like, the wired caper really does a lot to add more dynamic kind of feel to her presence. Because if this just was like a candy shell, kind of like a very hard plastic cape, this figure would probably probably not be well regarded. And I don't even really know. I'm not really entirely sure myself, but overall looks great. Looks cool. Has, you know, all your basic articulation with the head and everything. Has the shoulders a bit tough, but you can get them up there a bit. Rotate. Biceps do not want to go. Your double jointed elbows. Ooh, those barely even want to go too. It's like they got so much paint on here and then so much gummy plastic, especially with these older figures. It's just like, ooh. A little bit torso articulation. And you do got actually watches that are kind of sculpted past there, I guess, to kind of hide that seam line. A little cleaner, but you still get a bit of articulation there. Get the arm, get the legs going back out. Pretty good, because it essentially can do the splits. Upper thigh. Double jointed pinned knees, though. But gets all of its range there. No boot swivel, but feet go up and down and get your ankle rocker, which is actually nice with these, but of course you get your paint scrappage on there, but man, oh, not too bad. Just a very unique character that you don't really see nowadays that much. But then we'll go over her accessories real quick. So first, we have her unhelmeted head, I guess you could call it. It has this kind of like this dirty blonde hair with a lot of shadow. Kind of at the end, a little bit, kind of too much. It looks a little like muddy. It doesn't look clean, but it has a lot of shadow at the bottom there. But nice sculpt, nice detailing. And then has an alternate, kind of this see-through, kind of demon face. I don't think it's Renet. It might be like some other kind of like, some other, like an entity. But it's actually pretty cool. I do like this. Has the line work and actually has all the sculpting. So, yes, all that teeth and then the yellow eye just peering through. And then she has like her time staff kind of thing. Has like some kind of monster claw around it, but it's your little, like your hourglass with the spikes there at the top. Has another claw kind of thing going on there with the orb at the bottom. Has a little knife. Pretty standard. Pretty well done sculpt wise. I like the gold in the middle of the blade. And then has this kind of like this scroll kind of thing. Kind of yellow with the paper and then wrapped up, and then has your two little wrap things. Mine, that packaging does have a little bit of a gap you can see right there with the peg, but it does go back just on there, so too bad. Then has a separate little scarf, I guess, kind of piece. I assume that's for whenever you want to not have the cape on. And then comes with two other pairs of hands. Of course, she comes packed in with your two split out hands, but has your two fisted hands. And then your two grip hands. So, pretty nice. Pretty standard. At least we're going to try to... let's see with the box. Oh, God. There went Renet. But I guess I want to see with the box. Oh, I'm moving too much. But with the box... Oh, okay. So that's what that... Okay. So consult in the box. Sorry, my camera's all being screwy, but first we'll switch out the head. See how easy that is. Not too bad. And then I don't know if the cape is supposed to... It looks like it's glued on there, actually. So I don't think this cape is actually coming off anytime soon. But, okay, so based on the box, this is actually supposed to be like her head cover kind of thing coming off here. So if you want her without it, Oh. There we go. So you can have her without it. It's a nicer transition, I guess, than having just the cape there by herself. So very nice. Very cool. Oh. Now it's trying to get this head off. Okay. And then I don't know. I'm not really sure what this demon head is. We're going to try it on. This doesn't even feel like it even goes with this figure. It feels like it's just a little add-on, but if it's accurate to something, I guess someone can let me know in the comments what this head goes to, or I'll do my research on it, but pretty cool head. I might try to see if I can find a figure to go with it, because it's super cool. We will probably put out the original head, but we are going to switch out pieces here. We're going to have her hold her staff, of course. There's her staff. Hands are pretty pliable, thankfully. Soft, kind of rubbery plastic. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to heat up this figure. She's definitely going to have to need a little help. Keeping her joints from breaking on me, but I guess we'll give her the full array. We'll give her the other holding hand and just give her the knife. There goes the scroll. It's going based off of the actual packaging and the art. So I guess with her whole thing is that her cape is supposed to be kind of like flowing up from the sides. So there she is with all her doodads. Well, at least a majority of them, but there she is, looking pretty cool. And I don't really know like what her whole thing is. I think she's some kind of like time magician of some kind. At least I'm not really sure. I gotta do more research on this character. But she's just a cool, neat design. Kind of like in my mind's eye, like in my head canon. I'm like, oh, that's where that, like this thing comes from. Because from the third movie, they kind of had this kind of thing. Had like the scepter. So I'm like, I wonder if they ever like thought of actually having her in the movies. But then they were like, how the hell do we make this child friendly? And make this like another random lady that the turtles have to talk to and do stuff with. But they probably didn't really care by that point. Because turtle stuff was kind of done by that point. When they did the third movie, it's kind of like, yeah, kind of done with this live action stuff. We're not really getting too much money from it anymore. But there she is. And all her... Bro, everyone can see that. Yeah. That's the design of the character. German Goody. But thank you for joining me. I assume you're from Germany? Share to say das. I don't know. Yeah, thankfully, I guess YouTube is doing the auto-translate, so it just says, bro, everyone can see that. I know. That's the design. That's the character. The camera kind of blows out all the thing, but she still looks pretty good. Neat little figure. And it's kind of nice to get more female, but reps, kind of like for the turtles, because you don't really see that many female turtle characters. Really in TMNT, it's mainly like just like it's like April and like Karai at the most that they want to maybe mostly just April. So it's like it's cool to get more of your I guess this isn't more so. I would say this is like a original Mirage run. But I'll definitely have to work on the cape and then work on getting this plastic kind of chilled out for me. But overall, she looks pretty great. I will say so. Okay, we'll just get her to just stand up straight. Let's see how well doing that. Of course, they still have that upper thigh. That rotation there. Not my favorite. I kind of wish they would have something for the boots. Because if you want her to do that, but then her knees are like so far in, that it's like I need her knees to be out because she needs to stand up straight and look straight. Look forwards. It's kind of like, look at your thing. Do your thing. Also, keep your little crown thing on. Get time, woman. The time, female. Bit tricky to get her to stand too. I think this leg is kind of warped. I think both my legs are probably kind of warped. There we go. But not bad. Kind of with the cape, kind of I think helps a bit. But his ankle's all jacked up. What the hell? Can you please work? But very pretty cool. Could be, feel like, especially like now, it's like could be improved upon, I think, with, of course, with one like pinless joints and then having, I think, a bit more going on. But overall, she still looks pretty badass. She looks cool. I like the design. I like the thing that's going on with this character. But yeah, but we'll do some quick comparisons. Of course, gonna do with our latest opening, which is of course the ultimate body count, Casey Jones, who towers over her, by the way. Casey is using some kind of substance to get that beef. And then we got Fugitoid, one of my favorites from this line. All three of these look great together. Especially the Fugitoid and her work very well. Then I'm getting Mikey from the original 2008 Turtle line. One of my favorite turtle figures. One of my favorite turtle designs overall. And then we got April, version 2 from the Mirage line. Very cool. If female representation again. Then we'll get Splinter in here. And we'll grab our Shredder that we have for now. This is the first version when they brought back the line, including Renet. I don't know how to pronounce her name. I can't remember. I'm just gonna say her name's Renet for now. But you got your Splinter, you got your Shredder. Very cool. Gonna get in freaking Mauser if I can not be dumb. Bruh. Stand. Thank you. There's our Splinter. There's a Mauser just to throw in for fun. Then, where's that Utron? There he is, Mr. Painter Man. Painter Boy. Whatever. Can barely even see what he does down there, but there they are. Other comparisons, I guess we can do with the other KCs that I have, the other regular Casey Jones figures. Of course, you got both of your regular Casey's, both your first release and then your Target exclusive red shirt release ones. And height-wise, they're actually pretty similar, so kind of actually worked out even with the Ultimate one being a little bit beefier. To know that scale-wise is actually pretty accurate. And then, what do we want to do? We'll bring in April from the cartoon line. Or, of course, the iconic look for April that's well known. And April did have the jump, the jumpsuit in the comics, but more so became more iconic. Hello, bro. Hello. Well, welcome. K. Allanin. Welcome to our little live stream. Just comparing Renet, the Mirage Toys, NECA, with some of our turtle stuff. Have April and Casey from the cartoon. A few more comparisons. We'll do our last Ronin. From NECA. Looks pretty badass there. Well, what do we want to do? We'll get our cartoon Shredder here as well to see the kind of different capes that they've done here. Of course, with this one, he has no wiring. He's just full fabric. Of course, NECA, as always, greatest with the tumbles. Because this table is not the most stable, to be honest. But it works well enough. Also, this hat is not as secure as I would like for it to be. So it would have been nice, honestly, if they would have just sculpted it on. I kind of would have never really thought about it. Like, I guess it is nice to have it separated, because she probably did have a look like that in the comics, but I'm just like, I don't know. It's just a me thing. It's kind of like when they do the Shredder thing, where he has the separate, kind of like this crown piece. And it's just like, I get it, he comes with a different thing, but it's just like, if it, kind of like every time I handle this figure, that thing falls off, like when I put pressure on it, it's just like, it just falls off sometimes. Of course, now it's not going to do it, because I actually probably put it in, but I'm just like, ugh. But yeah, but still. Not too shabby, not too bad of a figure. Has a great amount of accessories. Has your unmasked, as we talked about before. Has your scepter and your thing and your scroll. Has this weird, monstrous, I guess, kind of like entity head I probably use for another character. I don't know if it is supposed to be her or like some demon or whatever. Has some hands and then have your little thing that's supposed to represent the headpiece when she has the mask. When she has it off and has her unmasked head on, so pretty neat. Pretty nice. We'll get here, we'll do a couple more comparisons. We'll get a cartoon foot soldier in here, and then we'll even get, we'll get my favorite one, the ice cream. Of course, they don't stand very well either. But Mr. Man's getting his ice cream. But pretty cool. Pretty neat. So yeah, but we'll do a little lineup. Our Mirage stuff, of course, our newest one, the Casey from yesterday. So be sure to check out that live stream. Also expect probably the 360 of both the Casey and the Joes. Hopefully to be out by today, because that's what I would probably prefer. Because it's 4th of July, so it would make sense. And then, who else do we want to bring? Bring in Fugitoid, since he was also a part of this first wave of bringing back the Mirage line. And we'll get April. We'll get Shredder. Of course. These freaking legs and these feet. They just don't do it sometimes. They just don't. There he is. And then, we'll throw in Splinter. Just to make sure he gets in there. But yeah, anything else I want to get in here? I guess not. But yeah, but if y'all got any more questions or anyone want to see anything, before we get off, I'll give it a couple minutes. We'll go about 40 minutes. Got like you got a minute and a half, so anyone here or anyone tuning in, you got any questions about any turtle stuff, any of the collection stuff, I got plenty. But I don't really have big plans for 4th of July today. Just going to be chilling out. Of course, I got to clean up my whole setup here. I got stuff everywhere, of course, every Saturday, every Friday night live stream. Always ends up with that. With this day having to be cleanup day, as always. But we always have a good time. We always try to have fun the best we can, so I appreciate y'all, those that did join me. I'm dropping stuff still being done. But yeah, but I guess I'll show for a minute. So be sure, like the video, comment what you want to see here on the channel, and subscribe. Subscribe to the channel if anything. If you're new here or tuning in, be sure to subscribe. What the hell am I saying? be sure to subscribe. Any little bit helps. Want to get there. Want to get to our numbers. Check out the Instagram. Probably won't have a post up there anytime soon. Probably something on July 20th is the goal, I think. So I gotta figure out what my picture is there. I know it's probably, I think it's X-Men Women. So I gotta figure out what to do from over there. But yeah, so we shall see what goes down. Stream, of course, next Wednesday. Expect that. Got plans for that, so fun stuff to come. Maybe another Saturday live stream. Probably not next week. Gotta see what goes down. But yeah, thank y'all for joining me. Shall see y'all in the next one. Be safe, do good, be you, and I shall see y'all in the next one. Goodbye. Oh shit.